On this episode of Skills of Nicole, we interview the teenie. So this is my teenie gecko. He is just over a year old now, and he's a leopard gecko. And today I'm going to tell you a few facts about leopard geckos. Fact number 1. Be careful of his tail when handling him. It's very easy to want to pull on his tail when he's running away. But do not do this because his tail will just pop right off. His tail pops off actually for a defense mechanism. So when predators are trying to attack him, his tail will pop right off and then he can get away because his tail wiggles a lot. And then if the predator hasn't eaten the tail, he'll come back and eat the tail. The reason he eats his tail is because he needs it for nutrients. It keeps him nice and healthy. This is actually where all of his nutrients are stored as he eats them. It's like our fat. So if you have a very fat gecko, he has a very fat little tail. But his tail, this is a great way to make sure that he's not like getting starved to death, is his tail. You make sure that his tail is all good. If you're gonna purchase a leopard gecko, I bought this one at a pet store, so I didn't really have to worry about this too much, but if you're gonna purchase one, you make sure that they don't have any kind of mouth rot around their mouth. They're gonna have like kind of some black in there, and inside his mouth he'll have lots of black, and that's a really, really bad sign. Because that means that he's been infected somehow. Another thing you gotta watch out for is his tail weight, of course. And yeah, so, or anything else that kind of looks a little abnormal or unhealthy. Your next question is probably, what do these things eat? This is what I feed him. I feed him some super worms. They're pretty gross. You can also buy crickets and mealworms and things like that. And I coat all of his food in cricket dust. And this is like a calcium powder, and you basically just coat all of his food with it, and then he eats it, and then it's great for him because then he can absorb UV light better. And in his tank, there's a lot of UV light because you have to buy him a UV lamp. Next, I'm going to kind of show you how his tank should be set up. So when you have your leopard gecko, you should get at least a 20-gallon tank. I'm not very good at telling how big a tank is because I always buy them used. So this one's like a really big tank, I think, and it's a good size for him. What I have here is I have a little water dish. That's very, very important for him to have, so he can have little drinks of water. And then I have other little dishes for his food, so his food doesn't escape, but it still does escape because I don't see any worms in there. Then I have his little cave, and that's where he can hide, or he can shed. A lot of the time he just sheds in there. You should have a place for him to shed somewhere in the tank. Like that should usually have a lot of moss in it. This actually doesn't have any moss in it, but he seems to really prefer shedding in here than any little space for him to shed that I've created in the past. A lot of people use margarine containers and they cut a hole in it and put a bunch of like moss in it. This is kind of where he hangs out a lot. Is his log. There's lots of different hiding spots in here, and that's why he really likes that. Geckos really like hiding spots, actually. One thing that you got to keep in mind is that he needs a hot side and a cool side. On his cool side, I usually put leafy things, and you have to put his water dish there because otherwise it's just going to evaporate. And on his hot side, I put like where he hangs out a lot because he really likes his hot side. So I also have these cool nets, and that's where he gets some exercise and climbs around. Then there's these thermometers, and that's to keep track of the heat. Heat on this side should be somewhere between, I think it was somewhere around 20 or 30 degrees Celsius. And on this side, it should be somewhere between, it's around 20 degrees, it's supposed to be. So somewhere around there, like really, like a hot day on that side basically, and a cooler day, but still summery on that side. And then I have on top here, I have his UV lamp. I also have his heat lamp. And then I also have, this is a night heat lamp, and it's like purple. And I keep that on all the time so that he has like extra heat, because he sits around a lot, so I'm not sure if he has enough heat. There's also a heating pad underneath here. See this cord? And you actually just stick it to the bottom and then just plug it in and it's gonna work. Yeah, make sure you have some kind of substrate. Little geckos, like little baby geckos, if you put like rocks and stuff and like sand, they'll sometimes eat it, and then that causes impaction, and basically they just become like one solid sand thing. Anyways, the only way that I've heard of to cure that is you feed them little bits of like oil, like baby oil or something, and that's supposed to kind of like clean them out, and hopefully they'll be okay. But I would take them to the vet either way, just to make sure. If you have any other questions or any concerns, or you just want to tell me what you've learned about leopard geckos, you know, just drop me a line, put a comment in the comment section, and just let me know what you think. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!